My name is Mike Nine, and I'm in a band called I Hate God, and we're coming to Australia and New Zealand in July. I don't know the dates off the top of my head, and we're bringing a New Orleans band called Goat Whore with us, who are awesome.
Very good, mate. Thanks for joining us today, Mike.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Good
Now,
to be here.
lucky for everyone, I've got the dates for us, bro. So I Hate God returned to Australia and New Zealand this month because for a run of shows starting in Perth on July the 23rd, then hitting Adelaide, Melbourne, and Sydney before finishing in Brisbane on July the 28th. Then you head to New Zealand for shows in Wellington and Auckland, mate. Like, do you let yourself get excited this far out from a show, or do you sort of wait till you're on the plane ready to go and it just all sinks in?
No, I'm excited now. I love Australia. I love coming over there. It's great. This will be our fourth time, I believe, coming over. So
Wow, that's
it's
good.
it's always fun. The people are great. We have a good time.
Yeah, sweet. It's been
I'm,
5 years
I'm
since you last.
excited.
So it's been 5 years since your last visit in 2019, bro. So what's changed with I Hate God since you
Yeah,
last time?
not much, really. I mean, we're still the same band. We're actually, well, I think actually in 2019 though, Jimmy Bauer, our guitar player, wasn't with us. He couldn't make the tour, so we had a fill-in guitarist. But the shows went well. Everything went cool. I think people want to see Jimmy though, so he'll be there this time, and it'll be great.
Very.
Yeah,
And in that time as
yeah.
well, your album, A History of Nomadic Behavior, came out as well, bro. So because you haven't played that here before, are you going to be focusing on that album, or is it going to be a mixture of everything?
It's a mixture of everything. We do some songs off that record, but most people still want to hear like the older stuff. That's the classic stuff we've done in the 90s. So but we do throw in stuff off the new records, for sure. The new record or the last two records. So yeah, it'll be a mixture of everything.
Cool. Now,
Yeah.
I hope I got my facts right on this. Otherwise, I'm going to sound pretty stupid. But you've named the tour after a song on your 2005 album, Preach and Free Message. So there was no mention of a special occasion in the press release. And it's only 19 years since that album came out. So it can't be a 20th anniversary. So why is the tour named after that?
Just because we picked that to be the name, that's it. There's no reason for it.
Right. Yeah, I
I
thought.
mean, we a lot of things we do don't make any sense. So it's fun. It's also fun to confuse people as well. So, but yeah, it's just a cool name. We never used it for a tour, so we figured why not.
Yeah, I think it's a great name. I was reading through it going, yeah, that's cool. And then I was looking through the album and it's like, where the hell does it come from? It is cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's from an album that came out in 2003. We did a song called that. Yeah.
Right, that was basically a live album, wasn't it? There was three originals on there, and the rest were live.
It was a compilation, is what it was. It was like all our 7 inches and then some live stuff, and and three new songs that we did on a 4-track that
Right.
aren't even like they're not even mastered or mixed or anything. We just did the three new ones like raw as we possibly could.
Yes. Wait, you're just saying that you like to confuse people, mate. So you're going to confuse them even more by not playing that song on this tour.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jimmy doesn't want to play that song, so I would love to play that song, but maybe we'll learn it by then. But yeah, that is pretty funny. I just realized that. Yeah,
Oh, that's hilarious.
Maybe we will learn it for the tour. I don't know.
Did you mention before that you're bringing the brutal goat whore with you? I interviewed them the other day. Great bunch of lads. But why choose them as touring partners with you?
They're just old friends of ours, and we've been going to shows and playing with their various bands and our various bands since the late 80s, or the early 90s. We've been friends with these guys. So, and they were in different bands at the time, but Goat Whore has now been around for a while. But they're just New Orleans, friends of ours, and we toured with them in America, and it went very well. So we're looking forward to doing it again.
Cool. I reckon too. Plus the fact if you put the two band names together, you got the foundations for a hell of a tour story.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get it'll definitely get weird at some point. We're
And
just such good friends with these guys, and there'll be parties and things that there might be fist fights, but we'll see.
I'll put my money on you, brother.
Thank
Right?
you, thank you.
So when I spoke to him the other day, like I don't normally ask bands about how they came up with their name, but I had to ask those guys, and the story they gave me was sensational.
You know, I don't even know the reason they're called that. I don't even know
You're going to have to watch my interview with him then, aren't you?
there's a well, yeah, right. I know there's a satanic element somewhere in there, but
And it's got to do with goats and naked women, but I'll leave it at that.
okay. Well, that makes total sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah, it
makes
does.
sense.
Yeah, I was expecting something like something a bit more sanitized, I guess. But he gave me the full fact, and it was great.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad he just gave you the honest answer.
very good. All right, bro. So what you've also got some local bands opening at each show with Flight Prison, Sundowner, Chuff, Aslo, and Defiant Grave, all getting the chance in their respective local towns. So hats off to you, brother. Like it's a good initiative. So many bands come over here and they neglect the local bands, I guess, but it's good to see you giving them a chance.
No, we still have that punk rock ethics, that we love to get the local bands on the shows, like give them a chance to play, and then like we like to check out the local stuff anyway, so it's like going old school with that.
Good on you, bro. Like I say, hats off to you, bro. There's so many bands come over here, and for one reason or another, local bands don't get a look in. But I've spoken to some of them personally, and the excitement in these bands and the things it does for their confidence, I guess. It's bands,
Yeah.
bands like you guys go home, and these guys live with that for the rest of their life, bro. So hats off.
No, and all these guys are helping to promote the shows too. They're posting about it and all this stuff, so it's going to get more people out.
It's
So it's a good thing.
Boy. All right, Brave. I want to go back to the early days, like the band. So you started them in New Orleans back in 1988. So what was the musical climate like that gave birth to I Hate God, and where did you fit in back in the old days?
We didn't fit in at all. People hated us. People couldn't stand us. We had a very few fans locally. We the climate back then was mostly still thrash metal, like bands doing the Exodus Slayer type of thing, or I mean there's a lot of different styles, but there was, some hardcore punk bands, and then there was like the thrash stuff. So there wasn't a lot new going on at the time. I guess industrial stuff was kind of happening too, but like the dancier stuff like that. But we just we were big fans of Saint Vitus and Black Sabbath and Black Flag and all these bands. So we were like, we let's just do that. That's what we wanted to do. We all were in other bands at the time, so this was like our side project. So we didn't take it that serious in the beginning because we all had other bands that we were doing. So this became the biggest out of any of our other bands. So it's pretty strange that we're still doing it 36 years later, 35 years later, or whatever.
Right, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and you mentioned bands before like Black Flag and Black Sabbath, and there's also others like the Melvins, there's Corrosion of Conformity, all these bands that influence you guys, but you've definitely created a sound of your own from it. So this is a question more for young
Sure.
bands coming through, bro. But like when you are coming up and trying to create your own sound from your influences, like how fine of a line is there between imitation and inspiration, and where do you draw that line?
I mean, it definitely in the beginning we would play like a couple Melvin's riffs, and just to see where it was going. But I think that comes down to like Jimmy Bower's like creativity, and our drummer, who he passed away, Joey. They had a very creative way of doing the stuff that we wanted to do and kind of combining it all, along with the punk rock thing too, like the Melvins type stuff with the punk stuff and the hardcore stuff, and even some like noisy stuff with all the feedback. They just were very creative in putting that all together. So hopefully it didn't sound derivative, or I mean, we don't hide our influences. We tell people like, what's influenced us, so they can probably pick out something here or there, and know that it's, you know, influenced by certain bands, but we definitely don't want to copy anyone.
Yeah,
We want it to be 100% original, you know.
yeah. And your music's also got a massive blues influence, especially with the guitars, bro. Like a lot of people wouldn't
Yeah.
understand or appreciate the fact, but blues does have a very good history with heavy metal, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a blues-based music, and you know, rock and roll is blues-based anyway. So it all comes together for me. But we listen to a lot of, you know, like Lightning Hopkins and John Lee Hooker and Mississippi John Hurt and all these bands. We love that stuff. So, and being from the South where we're from,
Yeah.
New Orleans, you know, you hear a lot of that, you know, coming out of clubs and bars and stuff. So it definitely influenced us.
Yeah, it's a great amalgamation of styles, bro. Like I say, you put it all together and it comes out definitely your own, but there's stuff in there that people wouldn't even think should go together. But when it does, it's just fucking magic.
Ah, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, there's even the Southern rock thing too, because we're huge Leonard Skinner fans, you know.
Yeah.
So there's like riffs here and there, or little parts that definitely influenced by Leonard Skinner and the Southern rock stuff, you know, which we all grew up with, also, you know.
Yeah. And we were speaking before about your last album, A History of Nomadic Behavior, which came out in 2021. So have you started work on the follow-up yet, mate, or have you just been busy touring?
We just been touring a lot, but I know those guys are writing some new stuff, you know, so I think they've got a couple things put together, but nothing fully formed yet. You know, it always takes us a long time in between albums to get the next one done. I mean, this one was what was this? The last one. It took a long time
Mm.
between the last two albums, and it seems to always take that. But we'll get something out eventually. You know,
You know, and
they're definitely right. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
But when you do get it out, people know it's going to be quality because you haven't rushed it too. So it's a win-win.
Well, that's part of it. That's what I like to tell people. It's like we're not one of these bands that like tours, then goes in the studio and writes it in the studio. We, you know, we like to take our time and write and sit with it that way too. You get to sit with the songs for a while and you get to know them better. And if you start to not like it, you may change something when you go in the studio, or you know, so it's good to sit with it like that.
Damn straight. All right, Mike. Well, thanks very much for your time today, bro. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I Hate
Yep.
God are in Australia from July 23rd in Perth. Go all around the country, including New Zealand, with the fantastic
Yep.
goat whore. So until then, brother, you take care.
Yeah, thanks for the interview, and we'll see you later. We'll see you soon.
No worries at all, brother. You take care, man.